back to my YouTube channel. Welcome to Becoming Cleo. I'm so excited that you're here. So today's video is going to be a little bit different because it's my 1-year anniversary on YouTube, which pretty much means that I have been consistently, for the most part, posting on YouTube for a year now. And it also means that I have gained a community of over 300 of y'all. And for that, I'm super excited. And for those watching, I really thank y'all for being here, for rocking with me this year, for just following along on this journey. So thank y'all so much. I feel extremely grateful and blessed to be able to have, started to build this community, to continue showing up for you guys, and to continue posting videos every single Friday. Since it's my 1-year anniversary on YouTube, I wanted to do something special for you guys. I wanted you guys to pick what this video was going to be about. So in my YouTube community, I left this poll right here. I left different choices for you guys to choose from, and I also gave you the option to fill in what exactly you wanted to see from me for this video. And most of y'all have said y'all wanted me to do a Q&A. And so since that was the majority vote for people that voted, that is what this video is going to be about. So let's get right into it. I asked people on TikTok that also watch my YouTube video, and I got a few questions. So let's get into those questions. Okay, so the first question is, what phase would you call this stage of your life? I love this question because I'm in my late 20s, y'all. I really wanted to say mid-20s, but I'm 27. So I'm in my late 20s, and I had to catch myself from having a slip of the tongue from saying mid. So I feel like this is like the perfect question to ask because of like where I am in my life right now. So I feel like I'm in like two different phases. Like the first phase I would call like the easing into myself phase. This one is like, I'm starting to feel a lot more comfortable with who I am as a person, starting to feel more comfortable showing up as my authentic self, no matter what that means or what that looks like. I feel like I'm becoming more confident in the clothes that I wear, and self-expression in my personal style, how I'm wearing my hair, how I'm evolving as a person, how I'm in therapy and I'm working on the hard things, and how I'm really just like trying to do this whole betterment of myself and just become better and continue to be the best version of me that I can be. I also feel like it's a lot easier to be my most authentic self and to really step into that, no matter what that looks like or no matter how that's going to be perceived. I feel like this easing into myself era is really just like it's almost like a coming of age, but a coming of age where I feel more carefree and where I feel more like I can just be me no matter what. And if you rock with me, you rock with me. And if you don't, you don't. So I feel like that's part of the phase that I'm in. Like, I'm doing a lot of the healing work. I'm getting more confident. I'm finding more about myself and who I am. And I'm just really happy with the person that I'm becoming. So I feel like I'm easing into myself. Like, I feel like earlier in my 20s, I had like a lot of reoccurring themes, and some, don't get me wrong, I still have these themes, but I just feel like they're reoccurring less and less. Like, I don't really resonate with who I was last year or even like the previous years before that, mid-20s. I feel like I'm a completely different person, and I love that. And I feel like I'm just easing into myself in the most gracious and like beautiful way possible. So that is the first phase where I feel like I'm in my life. Like, I'm just happy with who I am, who I'm becoming. Second stage, on the other hand, is the not so cute stage, and that's really just because duality exists. But the next one, I would say, it's the figuring it out phase. I feel like I've been in this figuring it out phase pretty much my whole life, but something about being in your late 20s and being in the figuring it out phase is just very, very different. So when it comes to money and finances and career, I feel like that's really where I'm figuring it out. And that part to me feels challenging because, like, to be honest with y'all, I feel like I still don't make enough money for work or enough money to like really live my life in the way that I want to live. On the other hand, I feel like I have jobs and that I'm not really in a career, and I'm kind of just doing this work to pass time and doing this work to pay the bills, but I don't necessarily feel fulfillment or feel joy in the type of work that I'm doing. So I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to pivot. I'm trying to make more money to actually sustain my lifestyle, to save, and to have like a beautiful life. I think that that's just hard sometimes because like this job market, this economy that we're in, it's not always the easiest to get in there and to pivot and to do something that you've never done before, or to enter into a new field where you may not have experience in. And the hard part about that is One, part of me feels like I should have already figured out the career part by now. I know people change careers and whatnot, but I just feel like I never really had a career. Like, I feel like I have jobs and not a career. The second part is I also feel like a lot of my peers are really into their careers and have like big girl jobs, and they're doing the work and they're getting paid the big dollars. And it just isn't that way for me right now. So I'm still figuring it out, and I'm still figuring out a lot of things, but I feel like that's just one of the like pestering things that is just like, we got to get this together because we're almost 30. Like, what are we going to do? Because if we want to buy a house, and if we one day want to have kids, and we got to have the money, you got to have the funds, and point blank, that's pretty much it. So I think those are the two phases of my life. Like, I'm happy with who I'm becoming, but I'm also not fulfilled and not getting paid enough and don't have actual fulfillment or a career that I feel like I'm proud of. So that's like what I would describe these two phases of my life. Like, on the personal level, it's really great. On the financial level, it could be a lot better, but we're figuring it out. It's one day at a time. And I know that I do not have to have it figured out all right now. And I also know that I may never have it all figured out, because that's life. Life be throwing curveballs at you. Me and life be beefing. We be tussling, and that's okay. I just need to continue to never quit and to just not stop until I find something that I actually feel fulfilled in. That's the first question. I really love that question, so thank you for asking about that. The next question is, what made you want to start a YouTube channel? I kind of talked about this in my very first YouTube video. I'm going to leave that up here so you can learn more about that if you're interested in it. Starting a YouTube channel is something that I actually never wanted to do, and I talk about that in that video that I just linked up there. But one, it was really my best friend that helped me to want to start a YouTube channel, because for the longest time I was actually really afraid to start one. Just because like just because I felt weird about it, and I felt kind of cringe that I had a channel that I'd be posting myself on YouTube, even though I had already like posted content like this on TikTok and on Instagram. Something about it being on YouTube, it just didn't sit right with my spirit. But after I decided that I actually did want to start a YouTube channel, I wanted to start it for a few reasons. Number one is that I really liked and enjoy watching long form content, and I felt for myself that I really had a lot to say. There were so many things that I wanted to talk about that I felt like YouTube was the best place for me to actually have long form content and to express myself. The other reason why I wanted to start a YouTube channel is because I really wanted to create my own community. For me, I feel like Instagram and TikTok, I wasn't having the best luck creating a community over there. I feel like TikTok especially is really just designed for you to scroll and scroll and scroll into the next thing. So I wanted to create a place where I find my people, I find my community, interact with each other, and this is like the place where we show up. So I wanted to start a YouTube channel for the community aspects as well. And on top of that, since 2019, I have wanted to create my own personal brand where I show up, where I talk about things that I'm interested in, things that I love, where I create a community and connect with other people. And I had done like the blogging route. Like I said, I did all the other social channels route, but I felt like I hadn't really given YouTube a fair shot yet. And so once I started creating YouTube videos and I found that I really enjoy this and I really enjoy long form content, it became something that I really love and look forward to doing. For me, creating a YouTube was a way to expand my personal brand, to build and deepen my community and bonds with the people that are watching my video and the people that interact with me in the comments, and also a way to just create more long form content that I want to see. Next question is, who are some artists, creators, musicians, and authors that inspire you? So I feel like there are quite a few people that inspire me, but the first four that popped into my mind. So the first one is Jasmine Mans. She is a poet and spoken word artist and just overall creative, and I love her so much. I first discovered her through I forget exactly where I first discovered her, but it was through YouTube on a spoken word video that she did. And ever since then, I have been obsessed. I've seen her perform live, and I'm also just a fan of her writing and her work in general. She's the first person that comes to mind. One, because as a writer, if you don't know, I'm a writer. I love her writing style. I love her work. And I also just love her books as well. The way that she captures people, tells stories, her word choice, how she performs the spoken word. Just something about it for me I really do appreciate. And as someone who wants to actually do like spoken word in the future and who wants to have a poetry book, it's such a really big inspiration, like seeing a Black woman who I really love and admire do the type of work that I one day hope to do. So some of her links below in case you want to check out any of her work. Second person is Wale, like Wale the rapper. I love Wale and he inspires me pretty much for the same reasons, like his songs. I love his poetic rapping style. And I also love that he's from the same place as me. Like Wale is from the DMV. So it's like, for me, seeing somebody that's from the same area that I'm from, doing amazing things, doing his music, especially in a very poetic and artsy and creative way, just really inspires me to know that the possibilities are endless for me. I have been a Wale fan since 2009 with his Attention Deficit album or mixtape. I forget exactly what song I heard from him, but I knew that once I heard the song, I was sold. I've also been following him and his career since then. So I would say he's another person that inspires me as well, specifically for his writing style and then also his rap flow like that. If you haven't heard a Wale song, I'm sorry. I'm going to leave some of his links to my favorite songs below through Spotify so y'all can check it out because he really is one of my favorite rappers. And I also seen him perform live, I think once now. And if it's only been once, that's wild. I have to go see him again. The next person that came to mind was Elle. She's a writer, she's an artist, she's an author, she's a facilitator, and she's also from and based in where I'm from, which is the DMV. Elle inspires me because I also want to do similar work to her as a writer. She teaches a lot of writing workshops, she facilitates a lot of healing and self-care spaces, and in the future, I definitely see myself expanding my brand and doing more of that on a bigger scale. So one day I do want to have books that I write. I do facilitate and coordinate and host like self-care workshops. And I also would love to teach people more about writing and poetry as a way to express yourself and as a way to heal yourself. So things that she's doing are really things that I want to do too and I see myself doing. So it's like to see a Black woman that's from where I'm from doing things that I want to do is one, it's just representation and just seeing that, knowing that it's possible. And two, I'm also just like a really big fan of her writing and I have a lot of her books. And so if you have not heard of Elle, I'll leave some of her links below as well because now the last person that came to mind is Auntie Tab, y'all. So Tabitha Brown is someone that I look up to and that inspires me as well. And that's because Tabitha Brown is also doing similar things to what I want to do. What I love about Tabitha Brown is that she's so pure, she's so genuine, she's so joyful. People rock with her and that they also just rock with whatever it is that she's doing. Like she's got the Target line, the hair care line, the restaurant, the seasoning line, and she really does it all. And she's a multi-passionate and multi-hyphenate creative person. And I also consider myself like a multi-hyphenate or a multi-passionate person. There's literally so many different things that I want to do with my life. Like for me, creating the personal brand is really just the start of it. But I know that in a few years, I want the personal brand to extend beyond the internet. I want to be able to do all of these different things that I want to do. I want all of these different dreams that I have to come true. So Tabitha Brown embodies that for me because she does so many things and they're all so different. Like from the hair care line to the restaurant to the seasoning line, like to the clothing line even. They're all so different, but they're all so her. So to be Tabitha Brown and to have a personal brand that embodies all that she is and all that she does is something that I want to do in the future for myself as well. So the next question is, how did your herbalism class go and would you recommend it? So because I asked this question on YouTube and on TikTok, I'm thinking that you're talking about the video that I made. I'll link that here, but about the video that I made about my herbalism class and that I mentioned, I think in a few videos. If that's the case, and if that's the right class, because I've taken a few and I think I've talked about a few. Either way, I think you're referring to the class that I took called Hood Herbalism. And I really loved that herbalism class because I felt like I walked away with a lot more than a wealth of knowledge. So for starters, the two facilitators of the class, Berenice and John, are the most gentle, kind-hearted, and caring facilitators that I have ever experienced pretty much in my life. Thing about herbalism from them was probably the best decision that I ever made. So I recommend the class for a lot of reasons, but I'll tell you specifically to me what stood out so you could see if it's a good fit for you. First thing is the class is at will, which basically means you can show up to as many classes as you want. You cannot show up to as many classes as you want, but they're really leaving it up to you and the capacity that you have to show up. The classes are recorded, so you won't miss anything. You can always go back and watch, but it's not some kind of like strict policy where you have to be in class. The next thing that I love about the class is that, one, it's BIPOC focused, which means there's only BIPOC in the class, and its class is taught through that lens as well. A lot of the readings, writings, and videos that you have to watch are also from Black and brown people as well. So it's really like a safe space for Black and brown folk, BIPOC people to come together and talk about herbalism. Because of that, they also paid homage to the indigenous folk and to our ancestors that studied herbalism and that learned it and that passed it down to us and that taught us about that. So if you are also someone that's into learning about your ancestors and how they played a part in your love and knowledge about herbalism, then I think that's a good class for you, especially based on all the other things that I just said. But if you're not someone who's into learning more about that, then I may not recommend that class to you exactly. I really love the format of the class and the way in which Berenice and John taught the class. Each week was something different. You would learn whatever that topic is of that week, and then you would have an assignment to go home and then to practice that. So it's like you're learning, but then you're also putting the application part, which I feel like for me, as a learner that likes to work with their hands, it was really an amazing and cool way for me to grasp the concepts and to understand more about herbalism. I feel like there's just a ton of different things that I loved about this herbalism class specifically, but it really felt like a safe space to talk, to be yourself, and to just learn about herbalism. Berenice does have a lot of different courses that she offers throughout the year, but you do have to start with her foundations class, which is the Hood Herbalism one. I definitely plan on taking more herbalism classes from her. So I highly, highly, highly recommend it, especially if what I said resonated with you. But I think my key takeaways were, I also learned about my relationship with the ancestors and my relationship with plants, just learning a better way and a better language to speak to both of them. So I talk a little bit more about my herbalism class in this video right here in my garden update. The second part of the video is about the class, so feel free to check that out where I go into more detail. And then if you have any questions like specifically about the class that you want to know, just feel free to leave those below in the comments or message me on Instagram, TikTok, whatever it is you want to get in contact with me. But I definitely do recommend the class. Last question I got was, how long have you and your boyfriend been together and how did you meet? So we have been together for 5 years on March 21st. So it's been over 4 years at the time of recording this video. Okay, so me and my boyfriend met at a Super Bowl kickback through mutual friends. One of my closest friends is from Boston, and so his team was playing in the Super Bowl. And one of his friends is also from Boston, so both of their teams are playing in the Super Bowl. But his friend is really good friends with my boyfriend, so they both came together to my friend's house, and that's where we met. So we just started talking, and then eventually he got my number, and then ever since then we've been together. But yeah, it was at a Super Bowl kickback party, so shout out to you, Daquan. I don't know if you watch my videos, but of course it's always shout out to you. That's pretty much the end of the story. But anyway, those are all of the questions, all 5 amazingly wonderful questions. So thank you all so much for watching. I'm super excited to be entering into this next year of YouTube with you all. Thank you all so much who watch, who comment, who subscribe, who share, and who just support me. I am so grateful. I really appreciate it. And I'm excited to see what this year brings. So with that being said, be sure to connect with me across all socials. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video.